So I've been posting daily YouTube content since the 1st of January 2026, right? And we are now currently in March. And for me, LinkedIn was my go-to. That was my platform as far as I was concerned, right? But over the months, I've now sort of realized how impactful YouTube is. And don't get me wrong, LinkedIn is very much still a amazing platform. Matter of fact, as far as what I do working with clients, I focus on those as my primary platforms. LinkedIn, YouTube, and Substack are my primary core platforms I work alongside with clients in order for them to develop a level of brand authority within their content strategy, right? And if you're not familiar with the idea of brand authority, for me, that's the idea of your personal brand multiplied by your business brand, multiplied by your campaign brand. That gives you a level of brand authority that makes you more visible and credible to your desired target audience that will then allow you to build a pipeline of leads that ultimately become clients, which will ultimately lead to more revenue for your business, right? That is the work that I do. And through the idea of YouTube and documentation, for me, I said to myself that I am going to document and drop one daily long form video a day on YouTube for 1,000 days. And the reason why is because I always knew the importance of video. I always knew the importance of being able to utilize and incorporate video within your content strategy. But now that I'm actually in the process of doing so, it's helped so much with many things. I can go on for a long time about what it's done for me in a short space of time, but through the process of documentation, you will see all of it in due time. However, the topic that I wanted to discuss today was mainly based on the fact that would you prefer to post more on, or post daily, in fact, on LinkedIn or YouTube? And if you asked me that maybe last year, I would have definitely said LinkedIn. But then through my process of incorporating the work that I'm doing, documenting, showcasing my expertise, my know-how, and my insights on YouTube, that for me has really changed a lot within my thought process and my strategy when I work with clients. And most importantly, how I'm able to translate that content and using YouTube as the primary bulk platform where everything effectively feeds off of my YouTube channel. And when I talk about that, that is literally the work that I do within the P.H.A.S.E.S brand authority system. I developed that system that allows you to incorporate all of these particular things, your expertise, your know-how, all the things that make you a key person of influence and the obvious choices embedded within the content that you do and you put out on YouTube. And that content is literally stuff you can repurpose, drip feed, retransition, repurpose into content that you can put across your core platforms with your LinkedIn and Substack that aligns. And then that's amplified within your secondary platforms. And through that process, with you being able to adopt PR and earned media strategy into your approach to be seen in publications, podcasts, broadcasters, to be seen as that level of credibility, that third party credibility, alongside marketing strategies that converts that attention into sales that will allow you to drive revenue. That is what my model focuses on. And that's what has led to me to get opportunities off my own back doing this sort of content and also using PR as an engine to not only amplify my voice and my level of credibility, but to reintegrate it into my content system. What I've started doing, I've literally been reacting to actual PR content that I've been able to secure for myself and providing additional context and clarity, and then using that to reintegrate into my content strategy. This is work that I'm doing, knowing that these are the skills I have had for almost a decade now. And applying that to you as a founder, as a B2B expert, is only going to lead to more opportunity because you create that infinite content loop that continues to reintegrate to the point where you are as visible and credible as possible in order to drive those opportunities. So anyone who wants to approach you for any of your particular services and offerings, they're coming warm. They're entering your ecosystem warm and effectively ready to purchase and ready to buy. When it comes down to daily content, like I said, it's not particularly easy. And I wouldn't advise daily content from a YouTube standpoint. I'm doing it more so to document my journey to build a seven-figure agency and to build a community of like-minded service operators and professionals who want to build that level of visibility and credibility to take their brand authority to the next level. These are the things that I'm doing. And because I love this stuff, like I'm incredibly passionate about branding, marketing, and PR, it allows me to always have content to write about and talk about, because I always document my journey from literally the beginning of my journey when I started in July 2024, when I jumped out the plane 10,000 feet in the air, till today. I have everything documented. My story is written, and there's so much more to come through it, but it's more so to showcase and document the process. And with that, YouTube is designed to be a library. It's designed to also assist and help with people who may be looking for answers. LinkedIn is really good, but it's not particularly good when it comes down to prospects wanting to Google how to do something, right? Because when you use platforms like YouTube and you Google and say, how do you do this? How do you do that? YouTube allows you to be in the search engine algorithms, because it's part of that. When you search for things, YouTube videos come up as tutorials, as how-to videos, as guides, as walkthroughs, a lot more than it would be for people to find you more so on LinkedIn. LinkedIn still remains, for me, the most amazing platform to build those relationships, to show rapport, and to establish those connections, right? However, YouTube for me, especially as a driver, is not only a driver for engagement, a driver for people to look at your content, to see the journey, to see the documentation, to learn from you, but it's also a way where you can use that as the main pillar of how you're able to repurpose and distribute your content across your whole content ecosystem. And it was from me realizing that and really making that a main focus for the work that I do, where the results has been outstanding, to be honest. You know what I mean? And, you know, for me, YouTube has also been a training ground for me to develop my camera confidence, to be able to deliver on camera. And we all know that being able to produce video content as well as compelling content at that via video is a lot more better, to be able to make people understand who you are, to gravitate towards you, and to just feel like they know you and they understand you. And that doesn't happen as often with LinkedIn alone, right? Me being able to drop daily content, it is guaranteed that whoever's watching my content, and if that's you, thank you very much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. But for you guys that are watching my content, you know that you can rely on me to drop that video to document and showcase something, to teach you something new within the areas of brand authority, marketing, and PR. With that, you know that there's a guaranteed watch where you can watch the video, you can learn something new, you can get some insights. You may even disagree with me, to be honest, and that's completely fine, but it's a platform for you to understand me a lot more better than you would if I was on LinkedIn, more so. And right now with LinkedIn, we are going through a sort of transitional phase, I would say, where that is very much your personal brand now is a lot more important on LinkedIn than it was prior. Before, when it was treated more as a just strict B2B platform, it was more based on your credibility, your testimonials of your work, your case studies, all that sort of stuff. That's all well and good. However, now it is sort of required for you to show that sort of personal side to your life and being able to document a lot more from what you're doing on a day-to-day, as opposed to the results that you're doing from work. You know what I mean? And with that, the way that it's transitioned over, being able to showcase that in video format in a way that allows you to do the best of both worlds, where you are able to create content, video content at that shows who you are as an individual, but then it also allows you to reaffirm and reinforce your expertise and your credibility in a way that allows you to combine both. So like I said in one of my previous videos, I hope that from you guys watching me, you can literally see the passion coming out of me based on my passion for branding, marketing, and PR. But at the same time, there's times where I will drop content showcasing what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I'm building in real time, just so you guys are involved in the process and the journey and the documentation, because all this stuff is authenticity. And authenticity in this particular climate is incredibly important. And we can argue and we can make the point that with LinkedIn being more a platform designed for writing content, a lot of it now is deemed as AI slop, right? A lot of the content, a lot of people can see from miles away that it wasn't written just as a normal person would write it. There's a lot of AI embedded in that as well. And with that, it doesn't necessarily help you with building your profile and building your brand in the way that it needs to, when it's sort of in a sea of sameness and a sea of AI generated content. But when you are doing YouTube content, especially when you're doing YouTube content where you are showing your expertise in a genuine, authentic, non-edited way. My content's not edited, and I do it purposely because I understand that with that, it allows you to just learn who I am. I'm not trying to be perfect. That is the thing with the difference and the transition between where we are now in this particular landscape of brand building. It's not about being perfect anymore. Back in the day, you could be doing putting yourself as perfect as feasibly possible. But now no one cares about perfect, right? People care about the person behind the brand, the person behind the story, right? And when you're able to incorporate that through your personal brand and your business brand, and like I say, through the element of campaign building and putting yourself out there to build both of those pillars simultaneously, then it's very easy to see why video is a big move now. Because the more that people are using these particular AI tools to write their content, it just doesn't seem as honest and genuine as it would be for me talking directly to you via video. So it only makes the most sense to double down on video content, authentic, organic video content at that, in order to showcase who you are to the people who are interested in your expertise, interested in your services, and just interested in what you have to offer. And for me, I feel that with the idea of video content, you have more opportunity to amplify that a lot more than solely just LinkedIn written content. And a lot of the stuff that I do, and I lead by example, and I even share gems and tips on there with what I'm doing. All of my content that I'm doing on YouTube as daily video content, that transcript that I am able to retrieve from that conversation that we're having is gold to me, is gold. Because through that transcript alone, there are so many various ways that I can develop that into other content forms, right? I could decide I want to tweak that into a blog and dedicate that into a blog piece for my Substack. Or then I can decide I want to break down these particular concepts that I spoke about on LinkedIn and turn them into a range of different posts, right? And then when you understand that you have now embedded that into your content strategy, because every single video aligns with a carousel, it aligns with a LinkedIn post, it aligns with a YouTube shorts, right? It aligns with a shorter video. These videos are then clipped into various different bits that are distributed through the secondary platforms. As I mentioned, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok. All these things really build from the fact that I am doing content on YouTube. And once you are able to produce that video content and you're able to then refine your voice in a way that makes it as organic and authentic as possible, then the options are effectively limitless with the amount of content you are able to produce as a result of you developing regular content and you're contributing and distributing that content, right? And lastly, I would say, when it comes down to the elements of brand building, evergreen assets are the things that I believe will remain king, right? Evergreen assets for me is king. However, timely and topical content is queen. Both of them play a massive role and a massive part in terms of how you're able to produce content. However, the same way that I am doing my daily videos and I'm able to then produce a video that is timely and topical to the time at hand and aligning it with my brand and my expertise and my industry insights and knowledge, that is what attracts people to my brand just as much as me providing evergreen assets of walkthrough videos, how-tos, tutorials of how you can build your brand in various different ways. Those two things are incredibly relative. The thing with LinkedIn, you can do the timely topical side of things, but as mentioned, in a sea of sameness with the AI generated content, people just don't believe you as much as they would if they had a video of you talking about it. And that is the reason why YouTube for me is something that I'm committing to dropping daily, because I know that through the way that I'm able to produce that content and it literally drips feeds into all my various content platforms alongside my strategy with how I'm able to PR myself and market myself to get people on board with what I have to offer as a service. Those are the things that are key and important and that will lead you to new levels of success if you decide to commit. So with that, like I said, I'm not saying for you to pick or choose. All I'm saying is that if I had the option to pick between dropping daily LinkedIn content or daily YouTube content, then 10 times out of 10, I am picking the YouTube daily content. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you feel that you would rather post on LinkedIn or if you agree that YouTube is the better platform now for B2B founders and, service providers to effectively develop their personal brand and their business brand. Because YouTube, I believe, is still very much untapped for that particular niche of industry. There's still so much more to be done. And with the way that I've developed the P.H.A.S.E.S Brand Authority system, it really allows you to really hone in on the elements of repurposing and redeveloping and revitalizing, in fact, your content in a way that can speak to your ICP in various different forms, right? So if you are interested, then please click down in the description box down below for a P.H.A.S.E.S Brand Authority Clarity Call. Book a call in with me, apply, and then, we can see if I'm able to help you to adopt and apply that brand authority system into your business, right? But on that note, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself.